Hello, my name is William Lee, and I'm here to give my Pachachka presentation on homemade macaroni, cheese, and sausage. This is a staple go-to comfort food for a lot of people, and I would love to share you just my recipe for it. There's a lot of variations, but we're going to go ahead and start with this one. So you'll need your base ingredients, which is 3 cups of whole milk, 2.5 tablespoons of flour, a quarter cup of butter, 8 ounces of elbow noodles, 6 ounces each of mild, sharp, and white cheddar, salt and pepper to taste, a package of andouille sausages, usually Hampshire Farms, and a half yellow onion. Just for add-ons for this recipe, we have grated Parmesan cheese, stovetop stuffing, and paprika. We're just going to use a little bit of the paprika to give it a little bit of spice, not too much, but to take it over, but you'll be able to taste that exotic flavor from it. But you're going to need to gather some equipment for it. So you're going to need a mid-sized pot, some liquid and dry measuring cups for your ingredients, a 9 by 13 baking dish, usually the darker ones hold up heat a bit better, the colander, and a skillet. I recommend a non-stick skillet. It's easier and it doesn't burn as easily. But we have our total prep time is going to take about 20 minutes to get everything together. The cook time itself is going to be about 30 to 40 minutes, and the total time is going to be about 50 to 60 minutes. So just around the time that the main dish once it gets finished. So after we have that done, we need to get our prep done. So we need to cut the sausages into a half-inch thick coin slices. Makes it a bit easier to cook without burning. Then you want to cut the onions into thin rings, like onion rings. And you want to shred the blocks of cheese in different bowls, and then put this dry stuffing in a Ziploc bag to crush in small pieces, usually with a hammer. Next, we want to get a pot of water boiling on the stove. Once it's rapidly boiling, we're going to add a pinch of salt to flavor the noodles, and then you're going to cook the noodles until they're al dente, usually about 10 to 15 minutes. Next up, once they are done, then we're going to go ahead and put the noodles into a colander to drain. As for al dente, that just means all done. So whether it's soft, a little bit crunchy, it's up to you. But then you're going to want to rinse the noodles off with water to prevent it from cooking, kind of cool it down. And then you're going to set the noodles to the side. Next, we're going to using the same pot, we're going to melt the butter. Once the butter is fully melted, you want to add flour to make a roux. The roux is just clumps of flour and butter mixture to help thicken the sauce. Careful not to burn it because it does easily burn. And then after the roux is done, we want to add the milk. Once the milk is in there, we want to make sure that we stir the mixture until it starts to thicken up. Once it starts to thicken, then you can add your cheeses until it's fully melted. Usually it gets that orangey color. And then add the half teaspoon of white pepper or black to give it a little bit of a zing to it. Not too much. After that, you want to take the colander of macaroni and add it to the cheese sauce. Once you add it in, just using a spatula, just want to fold the macaroni into the sauce, making sure all the noodles get covered. You don't want any dry noodles. Once that's done, just go ahead and set it to the side. Then we're going to take our non-stick skillet. I'm going to heat it up. Add about half teaspoon of butter or oil to the pan and let it melt. You don't want to get too hot because it will catch on fire. Then add the sausage and onions until the sausages are slightly brown and onions are caramelized, so they're brown and they're nice and little stringy. After that, you're going to want to put the sausages and onions into the colander just to drain the excess oil out. You don't want it too oily. Then go ahead and fold your sausage mixture into your macaroni and cheese and add about 1 to 2 ounces of more cheese. Then you want to preheat your oven to 350. Once your cheese is all folded in, it's nice and melted, go ahead and spray your baking pan with cooking oil and make sure you coat it evenly so that way nothing sticks to it. Then you want to go ahead and pour the macaroni and sausage into the pan and lay it out evenly. Then take that crushed stuffing and spread it on top with some remaining cheese to make a nice little crust for it. Once it's done, go ahead and place the pan into the middle rack of the oven And you're going to cook it for about 15 to 20 minutes until the cheese is melted and the stuffing top just starts to brown. So you don't want it to burn because it can burn real easily in that oven. This just gives it a nice little crust to it. So let's go ahead and mix it up. Let's add some vegetables to it as well. So we're going to cut some broccoli all the way to the stems, and then you're going to peel carrots. Usually you want to cut the carrots into about 1 to 1/4 inch thick long ways, and then just go ahead and rinse it, get all the dirt and stuff off of it. Once you have that together, you want to blanch your vegetables. Blanching means just putting in boiling in water. So usually about 5 to 10 minutes to get nice and soft. And then you want to use that skillet pan to go ahead and saute it in some garlic and butter sauce. Gives it a nice little flavor. And then once it's all done, you want to go ahead and just take some of that Parmesan cheese, sprinkle it on top, cut it into squares, and then place it on a plate right next to vegetables. You want to serve immediately so that way it gets nice and stringy. But that's my instructions on how to make this macaroni. I hope you enjoy that. But there's a lot of things you can do with macaroni. You can customize it yourself. Add a little bit more spices. You want to get a little zing, like nutmeg is a very good spice to it. Or you can change your meat. I know cubes of ham is really good. And a lot of people, these days want looking for a way to make macaroni healthy, a little bit lighter. So you can use skim milk. That's usually pretty good to use instead. So that was my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it, and you guys have a wonderful day.